that a puppet? Oh, that's so cool. Today we're going to be exploring Vita Carnis, an analog horror series presented as a documentary exploring the emergence of a brand new life form known as the Carnis species. These organisms are bizarre flesh-based life forms that begin to appear on Earth, disrupting ecosystems and human society. Presented in a mockumentary style, blending scientific analysis, found footage, and eerie visuals to create an absolute staple of recent analog horror. I made a 10-minute video about it back when it came out, but as a lot of people have been requesting that I cover the newest entries in the series, I decided it was time to go back to the roots. Also, I have a P.O. box. If you want to send fan mail or really anything, just send it here and maybe I'll open it on camera. Hello, my friends. Welcome back. I've got a question. Were you alone on Valentine's Day? Because, see that? Me and my wonderful partner Bella got to go to the Oddities and Curiosities Expo in Atlanta, met some cool people, saw some cool things, got this cool ring, and now I am back with another amazing video. Good evening. Welcome back, everybody, to the Daniel Profeta channel. Today, we are returning to where it all began for Vita Carnis. I saw this video a very long time ago, like 2 years ago when it first came out, and I haven't seen any of the Vita Carnis stuff since. And I don't know, man. Vita Carnis was kind of my introduction to analog horror as a genre. And I've forgotten a lot of what goes on in this video. Huge thank you to the people who showed it to me then, and to the new people who have requested that I take a look at the new stuff now. But I think before that I need to refresh myself on the lore of the series, and I wanted to bring you with me since, like I said, I really don't remember any of this. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see it again with more jaded eyes. So yeah, this is Vita Carnis, where it all began. Thank you for joining me this fine evening. It's freezing here in Georgia, and I don't know. I wanted to scare myself, and so that's what we're going to be doing. Here we go. Warning, this video talks about and shows imagery of graphic content like gore, violence, death, flashing lights, the works. So, viewer discretion is advised. As always for this channel, like if you're here, like if you're not new here, you already know what's going on. If you are new here, we cover the weird side of the internet. We're a bunch of freaks over here. Speaking of which, you may notice me going up and down a lot in this video. That's because I hate sitting in a chair for long periods of time, so I purchased a ball. And you know how much I like sitting on balls. That's what we're going to be doing for a lot of today's video. Here we go. This is classified material. The apprehended face a penalty of up to $500,000. Now, if I remember correctly, the story is basically...
On planet Earth, life has thrived for millions of years. Creatures big and small have found ways to adapt and evolve to flourish in all types of environments. From barren wastes to lush forests, life can be found. Earth has homed these creatures since the dawn of life itself. Only until very recently, things have changed.
Okay.
New life forms.
I remember. All right. The basic premise of Vita Carnis is that in the beginning, you know, we've made it through evolution to the point where we are now, and suddenly there's been a mutation as something has shifted and changed, and there are these new creatures. And then the main Living Meat Research documentary is showing us these creatures and kind of giving us the rundown on how they operate, what they do, and yeah. I also remember there being jump scares in this, so I'm a little worried.
Forms have appeared all around the globe and completely changing the balance of nature and what we know about evolution itself. That is why we, at National Living Meat Research, have been studying these new species, trying to help educate everyone about these creatures and their wondrous ways of life.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the education.
What are these new life forms? Since their explosive arrival across the globe in 1931, there has been much debate on what these newcomers are, and where they came from. Are they extraterrestrials coming to invade Earth? Or are they demons who come from hell to purge humanity?
Gonna guess neither.
From what our scientists have discovered, no. The origins of these creatures are solely to Earth, miraculously out of nowhere. We don't know why or how, but one thing is for certain, Earth is now their home.
Immaculate conception. Maybe.
What these creatures are is mysterious and still not well known today. But here is what we do know. These creatures are comprised mainly of muscle tissue, organs, and bones. They greatly resemble animals with no skin, or store-bought meat. Because of these characteristics, they have been named accordingly as Vita Carnis.
Carnis, my
The
bad.
Carnis
Vita Carnis.
species consume decaying, organic matter, but their main diet is composed of raw meat, not including their Carnis relatives. The Carnis only appear in places where there is an abundance of crawl, which leads to the first creature of the Carnis species.
The crawl.
The crawl.
Yeah.
The crawl is a growth of meaty tendrils that closely resemble the small
Okay. When I saw this, I had never seen anything like it before in my entire life, and rewatching it now, I'm reminded of just how unique it was and remains. The robot voice, though, slightly more annoying than I remember. I almost would prefer there just being text on screen that we were reading, as opposed to like the automated voice. Although it might just be overdone now. I feel like a lot of different things have done it, but this might have been one of the first. But something that I really, really loved that I totally forgot about it was the hand-drawn art. Obviously, you've got the typical analog horror like filter over everything and the kind of infographic look and design of the whole piece. But these pieces right here, I don't know. I don't know. I just really find the hand-drawn art very endearing. It makes the whole piece feel more personal, makes it seem more high effort, and I just love it. Here we go.
creature of the Carnis species. The crawl. The crawl is a growth of meaty tendrils that closely resemble the small intestine, the only difference being the dark red coloration. These tendrils grow in a similar pattern as vines, mold, or fungi.
Horrible.
A primary stem structure is the host to divisions of
that's
other,
so cool.
smaller branches. In each tendril contains a variety of veins, arteries, and other similar organs used to transport nutrients absorbed from its surroundings.
They literally just look like
The ends of
veins.
these tendrils are equipped with organelles used to absorb water and organic matter necessary for growth. The source of these organic materials is mainly found in dirt and soil on surrounding surfaces.
Okay.
Using its root-like tendrils, found in dirt and
Who are those
soil on
photographed
surrounding
by?
surfaces.
Bear, Macabre, Anonymous, and Artemis. Spite of Artemis. Huh. Are they like the Living Meat Research Foundation went onto Reddit to find some photos.
Using its root-like tendrils, it absorbs the material and processes it into usable energy. Although, the crawl also obtains energy through another means. Using a sophisticated form of photosynthesis, the dark pigmentation of the smaller branches.
Don't worry, guys. The bloody vein plant actually obtains all of its nutrients from the soil. And also, mysterious second option, which we will not tell you about, but we'll pause ominously after saying, just so that you know it's something to be worried about. Let's see if they explain. Processes solar energy into chemical energy.
Form of photosynthesis. The dark pigmentation of the smaller branches is ideal for absorbing sunlight, and therefore allowing solar energy to fuel the crawl's growth. Because of its efficiency, it thrives in almost all types of environments, easily allowing it to spread across the world, and can be found pretty much anywhere. Its recent inclusion in the ecosystem has caused many major changes in nature's balance. One may assume that the crawl's presence may outcompete any other competitors, but due to its unique life cycle, where old branches fall off and decay into nutrient-rich compost, all forms of life seemingly flourish instead. The crawl's abundance grants plenty of nourishment to all animals, from plants
That's
feeding
pretty
on the
cool.
decayed crawl, herbivores thriving on increased plant population, and carnivores feeding on both the abundant prey and are able to eat the crawl as well. The presence of all these animals leave behind waste, which will be broken down and consumed by the crawl, and the cycle begins again. This form of symbiosis leads to an environment where all populations thrive. Humanity also uses the crawl to our advantage.
We do?
Because of the supernatural rate of growth and its richness in nutrients, it has been sustainably cultivated.
Okay, I can use my newfound skills. So you guys were very adamant that I learn how to do this. So now I know that I can move frames using the period and comma on the keyboard. Okay, did we miss anything? Or was it just Tyler Durden flashing? Oh, what the hell? Okay, hold on. Can I read this? Let me turn the brightness up on my computer all the way. Radio tower overgrown with crawl. Is there any... Can I read the text? Nope. Okay. So just for a split second, I wonder why. For a split second, we got this newspaper clipping flashed at us. Why it got flashed at us, I have no idea. Who would have put it into the documentary? Is someone trying to warn us, is the question. Are there scientists or researchers that know more than are letting on and are being told to keep things under wraps, but they're trying to kind of subliminally, or not even necessarily subliminally, but just they're trying to let us know through other means to get around whatever safeguards are in place? I have no idea. Let us continue.
And its richness in nutrients, it has been sustainably cultivated into domestic farms. The crawl is harvested and processed into fertilizer, which greatly increases crop yield and quality. The crawl may also be used as a food source for humans, and reliably so. But due to its unkindly appearance and taste, it has yet to reach cuisine standards.
Unkindly taste.
The crawl also plays a very important role in the next creatures that we have been studying. Sometimes, in a crawl-populated environment, a node of meat may develop on one of the branches. This node will fall off and grow into a functioning organism, and go to live on as an independent animal.
What the fuck?
This leads us to the upcoming species that we will be discussing.
Okay.
The first of these creatures are the trimmings. The trimmings.
Okay. All right. We got a lot to go through here. Hold on. Those creatures are the trimmings. Okay. What do we got? Oh, I love this ability, though. I feel like a god. Okay. What was that? I have no idea what that... Oh. Cannot read that. Damn. Okay. Oh. Ooh. What on earth? Okay, when I watched this for the first time, I do not remember seeing any of these. Is this possibly like the backstory of how this happened? How we got to this point? Okay, that's
the trimmings.
Interesting.
Trimmings are small animals that resemble skinned raccoons. They are commonly known to have a plump body, round head, small eyes, nose and ear holes, and an agape mouth. They are also equipped with a diversity of limbs.
Why?
All individual trimmings are unique,
Why?
each with a different body shape, number of limbs, and other characteristics.
Oh, he's kind of cool. Like
One thing they all share in common is that they are made mostly of meat tissue and are a maximum of 20 centimeters in length,
Okay.
no larger than a basketball.
Oh.
Its life starts with its separation.
You know, I was thinking to myself, okay, they're not that big. That's not that big of a deal. And then no larger than a basketball. Can you imagine like a roach the size of a basketball? Like, I'm sure there are roaches the size of basketballs, but like that like that tall too, that thick. Can you imagine a thick roach? Tell me you're thinking about a thick roach right now. Every now and again, right before I go to sleep, I like to imagine roaches coming out of the closets and being gay. I'm sorry.
Although it is an omnivore, being able to hunt meat and forage for plant matter, trimmings are almost entirely scavengers. Their diet consists of rotting plants and meat, including, but not limited to, fruits, vegetables, roots, seeds, insects,
Thank
and
God,
deceased
not
animals.
humans.
Although its appearance is unsightly, it is a
Why?
cowardly creature,
Why does it
only
look like
fleeing,
that?
screeching, and hiding when
Why
threatened.
does he look slick here?
Because of its lack of defensive traits,
Why is he
it
so
lies
wet?
near the bottom of the food chain, making it easily overpowered and picked off very regularly by predators. Naturally, its population would eventually die out. This is not the case.
Let's do it again. Where'd that go? Is it here? Okay, mass trimming infestation. Estimated 400 plus trimmings gathered under a large abandoned satellite dish. Huh. Like the the TR the TR was it TR-84? What was that satellite dish I talked about in the megalophobia video? I don't remember, but that thing was massive. Absolutely massive.
Is not the case.
Okay.
The crawl constantly produces a large quantity of trimming nodes,
Yeah, they
keeping
come
up their
from
numbers.
the crawl, so
Naturally, trimmings can be found wherever there is abundant crawl. Trimmings
everywhere.
grow at a decent pace, reaching maturity at around 7 months, having a maximum lifespan of 2 to 4 years. Although they are plentiful, humanity has no proper way to implement trimmings into society. Their overabundance has even considered them pests, due to them digging through
Oh, that's
trash bins
nasty.
and making excessive noise at
They're like
night.
little raccoons. Little
Besides
bloody
all of
raccoons.
this, some people still keep trimmings as pets
Aww.
and relatively domesticate them.
Would you keep a trimming as
Nuisance
a pet?
or not, trimmings are a wondrous creature. From their plentiful numbers to their skittish nature, they are truly a thing to behold. The next species on our list is
Okay.
the meat snake.
This has been going well so far.
The meat snake. The meat snake is a worm-like creature made of
take
a
it back.
variety of types of meat.
Nope.
Coated
I take it back. The hell is that? What the hell is that? Transparent coating that acts as the brain and nervous system, holds the body together, and contains the preserving fluids to keep its meat and organs from decaying. Fantastic. Oh boy, I'm so glad to know this. Did the meat snake thing, when it first showed up, was there a flash of something? Did we miss something? Let's see. Hold on. Okay. During the travels up, there's great storm, powerful swayed the boat, and the royal family pushed the prince out into the sea. Is this like literal, or is this some sort of allegory? I have no idea. That's probably the family we saw earlier. There's also numbers down at the bottom of the page, it looks like, so they might be out of order, and we have to piece the actual specific order together. All very useful for my own living meat research. Okay.
Sure. Its size varies, coated in a transparent, skin-like membrane.
Okay.
Its size varies during its lifespan, depending on how much it consumes. When it first separates from the crawl, it is only a few centimeters in length.
Huh.
Eventually, it will reach an average length of 5 meters. Although, under extreme conditions, like natural disasters, war, or plague, it can greatly surpass this length.
Huh.
The meat snake's diet consists entirely of dead animals or parts. A meat snake is incapable of consuming a healthy, living organism. The meat snake allocates its food by using a tongue-like organ covered in...
I love how much detail went into making the sketches and just the general anatomy of each of the creatures. Like, it's such a labor of love, and it must have taken such a long time. I don't know. I just... Like, same with Silas Orion's stuff with Dr. Nowhere, or as Dr. Nowhere. It's mind-boggling to me how many like little sketches and little ideas that collect over time in, I don't know, some fucking folder or whatever, suddenly manifest themselves as these creatures that are recurring characters in an overarching story. Like, analog horror as a medium is so... It seems so freeing as an artist. Like, it's there's so many different ways that you can approach it, and the low fidelity kind of like quality of it that it's emulating is part of the point. And so like the audience built into it kind of gives leeway to new creators, new artists who are just getting their feet, who to like make, you know, these these story masterpieces without necessarily being, I don't know, photorealistic artists or something like that, you know? I don't know. I'm not even 100% sure what I'm trying to say, but it's impressive. It's very impressive how much thought goes into it. And it makes me happy because it reminds me of when I was a kid and I would make like, you know, the characters or worlds and populate it with creatures or beasts or there's just these concepts and ideas, and the thought of going and finding those concepts and ideas and bringing it to life in a way where a bunch of other people all engage with it is just really, it's heartwarming. It's cool. Plus it's scary. Obviously I like it. As always, support small artists. Go follow Darian. And yeah, let's keep going.
In sensors to touch and feel its environment. The sensors catch particles of decaying meat, notifying the meat snake that there is food nearby.
Okay, does it only eat decaying meat then?
This process shares many similarities to regular snakes, hence the meat snake's name. Once it locates the corpse, the meat snake will open its jaw and swallow the entire body whole. Once the entire body is consumed, the meat snake's stomach will release a variety of chemicals.
Will it
Some
now?
will break down soft tissue like skin and the connection points between muscles. Others chemicals will then ferment and preserve the tissue to keep it from breaking down for as long as possible.
Hell
After
yeah.
that,
I need
the
that to happen to
remaining
me.
flesh and bones will move along the meat snake's tract and slowly be implemented into its own structure, extending the meat snake. Unsatisfactory parts like skulls, pelvises, hair, and fingernails will be excreted.
Imagine if your pelvis was unsatisfactory. Is the Legion truly just a meat snake that assimilates new organisms into its body structure? These are questions for us to ponder as we continue through the living meat research.
Speaking of skulls, the meat snake will take the skull from the consumed organism and use it as its own.
Does it make it as its
Each
own
meat
skull?
snake has its own skull,
Yeah, I
each
remember
corresponding to what that one has consumed. During its lifespan,
That's so
it
cool,
will
though.
swap or replace these skulls if needed.
Imagine
a meat
being a meat
snake's
snake and
lifespan depends entirely on how much a meat snake consumes.
getting a giraffe
The longest
skull.
one has lived for was 28 years.
Oh,
The meat snake has no predators and is immune to disease due to its preserving chemicals.
Okay.
The only significant ways
much?
a meat snake can die is through starvation, burning, or complete destruction of the meat snake's membrane coating.
Okay, there are ways to kill it.
Interestingly, the meat snake is the only member of the Carnis family that is able to
Look
reproduce.
at him.
When a meat snake reaches an excessive size, and is in the conditions to do so,
Mitosis.
it will commence mitosis,
Yeah.
splitting itself in two. Then the now two meat snakes will go on their
Love
separate
knowing
ways and live
things.
on as two distinct organisms.
I love how even if I've already seen the thing, guessing when I don't remember still makes me happy. Still gives me a strange sense of accomplishment.
Meat snakes can only be found in moderate temperature climates.
Not much
not
else
too
going
hot,
on in my life, you know
not
what I'm
too
saying?
cold. Their population depends entirely on the amount of corpses available. Where there is death, there are meat snakes.
That makes sense.
Humanity will use them to our advantage. Meat snakes are a very efficient and clean way of disposing of any meat products. The preserving fluid within the meat snake's body disinfects the carrion, preventing the spread of disease. Humans use meat snakes in butcher shops as a waste bin, dispose roadkill, within war on the battlefield to dispose of festering bodies and parts, and within zoos to dispose of deceased animals. They are extremely tame, not caring if any creature
They're
is around
tame.
them, only
That doesn't
acting
look
defensively
tame.
when it is within consuming a meal. This means they are very easy to tame.
Would you want one as a
Overall,
pet, though?
meat snakes are a marvelous creature with a very interesting way of sustaining itself. It is an amazing experience to encounter one, as long as you don't mind the smell.
Ugh.
Our next creature is the mimic. The
Uh-oh.
mimic.
Hold on. The mimic. Why does every single thing have a thing called a mimic nowadays? All right, after being stranded at sea, the young prince eventually was something on an island, or to an island. Injured, the prince stumbled his way into a nearby cave. The prince used what magic he could to put himself into a healing sleep. Again, I'm wondering if this is a metaphor, perhaps.
The mimic. The mimic is a bipedal creature with uncanny similarities to humanoid anatomy.
Uh-oh.
They greatly resemble humans without skin,
Uh-oh.
without exaggerated features. These features include extended finger length, longer limbs.
You notice how every other one of the little red cardboard cutouts that we have to give us a visual representation of what we're talking about did not have detailed eyes and a mouth. Like every other one was so simple in design, and this one's all way too detailed.
Bulging, empty eyes, and their most prominent feature, a wide, teeth-filled smile. Although it resembles a happy face, this is due to coincidence, and is only how their facial structure is shaped. The maw of the mimic contains much more teeth than humans, and their teeth is comprised almost entirely of incisors, with some canine and premolars in the back. This tooth composition is ideal for biting down onto meat and swallowing chunks whole. A mature mimic's diet is comprised entirely of human flesh.
What? What?
Because of this, they are found solely around.
We were doing so well. We were having such a good time. What the fuck is that? What do you mean? What do you mean that its diet is comprised entirely of human flesh? Human flesh? This entire time I've been thinking to myself over and over again, okay, thank the Lord, none of these things eat humans. They eat each other, they eat compost, they eat dead things, they eat carcasses. That makes sense. They're living meat. They consume dead meat to assimilate into their living meat. That all makes sense. And now suddenly we've got the diet consists entirely of human flesh. Very long silence. This bit will get old very quickly. Okay, let's
Around
continue.
human populated areas.
Oh, do they?
The mimic's life cycle is made of 3 stages.
3 stages.
In the first stage, a young mimic separates from the crawl. They closely resemble their trimming relatives, but are thin, sleek, and only have 4 appendages. In this stage, the young mimic will hunt small animals, moving on to larger and larger as they grow.
Uh-oh.
Once large enough, it will begin metamorphosis into the next stage of life.
I don't like it, guys.
Once fully transformed, it will resemble the description mentioned in the beginning. Its hunting style changes and becomes much more complicated. It now stalks and feeds only on humans. It will locate human populated area and begin its search for an easy target. To blend in, it may use objects to conceal itself. These include clothing, mannequins, and furniture. Once a target has been
I don't
found,
like it.
the mimic will observe its prey and learn its routine and when it is most vulnerable.
Why is he
This is
back
typically
there?
when the human is asleep at night. Once the prey is within position, the mimic will advance silently until it is close enough. The mimic will then execute and immediately begin consumption. Once the mimic has had its fill, it will leave the scene, a fair distance away
Okay.
from the human population, and begin to digest its meal. Although, in the case the to digest
Look at that. Whoa, that's a cool picture. That one looks more real than some of the other ones have.
its meal. Although, in the case that a human is awake, a mimic will use a variety of sounds to either lure or startle prey into cornering themselves. Once a human is in place, it
What the fuck was that? What the hell? Okay, hold on. It was only in one ear.
In the case that a human is
Turning
awake,
it down a
a
little bit,
mimic
though.
will use a variety of sounds to either lure or startle prey into cornering themselves.
No,
Once a
no,
human is in
don't
place,
do that. Just stop. Holy. That is genius. That is one of the smartest things I've seen in an analog horror. Uh, that's so simple and so effective. What on earth? So they prime you, right? They tell you, oh, it uses sounds and whatnot. How did they get it to sound like that too? Like, listen. Sorry, I keep replaying it, but listen one more time. Listen to it. Listen to how it sounds like it's far away. Like the sound effect is weirdly accurate.
although, in the case that a human is awake, a mimic will
Holy
use a variety of sounds to either lure or startle prey into cornering
hate it.
themselves.
I hate that.
Once a human is in place, it will
Oh,
swiftly
boy.
attack and kill the helpless target.
I'm sure. No. No. Please, no. No. Oh, it's so cool though. None of the rest of it was live action. Oh no. Just show it already. Get it over with. Ah. Ah. Is that a puppet? Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I love this.
The next stage of the
I love this. We're cool. We're cool. We're cool. We are calm. We are calm, cool, and collected. Watch. Calm, cool, and collected.
mimic's
Fine.
life cycle has two
Everything's fine.
potential morphs it may develop into.
Everything is fine.
If a mimic has a consistent supply of food, it will develop more human-like features. It will grow skin,
What?
hair, and
What?
by the end will look nearly identical to a human being. It now can blend entirely into civilization and
I wonder why they're called mimics.
lure other humans more effectively. The second type of morph happens when a mimic receives an overabundance of food.
Oh, I just realized.
It will grow into a larger, more evolved hunter. Its proportions will increase in length, and its humanoid features will fade away. It grows a thick, dark coating of a flexible skin, which is highly durable, and increases in strength the more the elder mimic consumes. This excludes the face, which is now coated in a pale pink skin. The mimic's teeth have also moved deeper into the mimic's throat,
Ugh.
leaving its mouth a toothless grin. It uses the dark
that's
hue
so
of its
cool,
skin to
though.
hide seamlessly within a dark environment.
So its teeth retract into its neck area. That's so gnarly. Holy moly. That's so cool, though. It's so cool. It's so cool. So cool.
Its skills
Sorry.
have also been heightened. This makes an elder mimic one of the most efficient predators on the planet.
Okay.
Because of the obvious threat
can
this
we kill it?
poses on humanity, nations around the world have released instructions on how to be able to fend for yourself in a mimic
Okay.
encounter. Here
Well,
are
that's
the
good.
instructions.
Here are the instructions.
1. Avoid going out alone if your location is known to have mimics, or there have been mimic sightings.
Okay.
2.
I can do that.
If you encounter a stationary mimic, seemingly unfazed by your presence, quietly leave the location and
Okay.
alert your local authorities.
I can do that.
3. If pursued by a mimic, get yourself into a position where you are able to flee. Mimics will rarely attack if a person has a clear escape route.
Okay.
4. In the event that you have been cornered by a mimic, roll into the fetal position, protecting your neck, face, and vital organs from attack. Make as much noise as you can to alert any other people. 5. If you have a weapon, do not use it. A mimic is fairly resilient, and any strikes or shots on a mimic is not effective enough to bring it down in time.
We can't
Instead,
shoot it?
use it as a barrier between you and the mimic to block any attacks.
Use the gun as a barrier.
6. In a situation where a mimic is hunting in the immediate area, and is not aware of your position, hide somewhere low, like under a bed or behind other furniture. A mimic will not linger too long to search for prey.
Imagine there's a mimic in your house and your decision is to go hide under the bed. And then you're just peeking out from under the covers, just hoping, and then you see that hand come down or that hideous face, or it's consumed the rest of your family and it walks in looking like a weird amalgamation of your mom and your dad.
And we'll move on.
Be safe and avoid any encounters with a mimic at all costs.
Thank you for your concern, robot voice.
Next up, the harvester.
Ooh,
The harvester.
Nope, we almost missed. Oh shit, we almost missed something there. Next up, what was that? Is there something down there? No. No. I didn't hit the wrong button. You hit the wrong button. Shut up. Okay. The prince's sleep was long. He slept for what seemed like forever. And as he slept, the land around him changed and was unrecognizable from when the prince first arrived. But the sleep still needed time to heal the prince. Much more time. But it kept the prince safe while he healed, guarding him from the elements as the land changed.
The harvester.
Is the prince human, or is it like a mimic?
The harvester is a large, bulbous mass with a large amount of tendrils spreading from the base.
How large are we talking here?
The bulb measures around 3 meters in height
massive?
and 2 meters in diameter.
Holy shit.
The tendrils,
like 10 feet
on
tall.
the other hand, can extend up to 150 meters in diameter horizontally. The harvester is a specialized form of crawl that grows in a unique and deadly way.
How'd they get that picture? We were just told 3 seconds ago that the tendrils go out 500 feet. That doesn't look like 500 feet. Imagine being that photographer. Let's pour out a drink. Let's raise our glass to the brave soul who got us anonymous, who got us this fantastic.
A harvester is created when a node that will grow into a harvester, instead of separating, continues to grow. Eventually, it will grow tendrils of its own.
So the crawl
it uses the energy provided by its mother branch and expands its reach further. Its tendrils, hidden just below the surface of the ground. The harvester is equipped with 2 types of specialized tendrils. The first type is bulky and flat. They lie the closest to the surface. These branches are lined on each length of the tendril with spines, extending in the shape of a bear trap. On each side of the branch, those particular spines have a vein that feed into them, that pump 2 types of venom. On one side, the spines can inject a neurotoxin, which will attack the nervous system of whomever it is injected into, causing sudden paralysis.
Causing sudden paralysis.
The other side can inject an anticoagulant, which when injected, prevents blood cells from clotting.
Oh, you'll bleed out.
Whenever a large animal moves across the area armed with these tendrils, the branches will clamp onto the animal and thrash violently. Once the prey has been injected with both venoms, the tendrils will rest and the prey will immediately collapse. The animal will be unable to move due to the paralysis, and the wounds caused by the thrashing spines will not stop bleeding. All the prey can do is lie patiently, until succumbing to blood loss. Once the prey has bled out, the second type of tendrils come in. They lie below the spine equipped once. These branches are thick, but very sturdy. They share similar anatomy to the small branches of the crawl, equipped with organelle that absorbs nutrients. These tendrils sense the blood, and move their way to the surface and begin to absorb the vital fluid. Once the blood has been consumed, the tendrils will wrap
like a
around the
vampire.
body and begin to shuffle downwards. This movement loosens the soil and slowly pull the body underground. Once secure, the tendrils will continue to feed until there is nothing but scraps. The nourishment absorbed by the tendrils will be sucked back into the main bulb of the harvester. This bulb houses all the vital organs and the venom glands that pump into the spines. The nutrients are then converted into usable
It's
energy.
like an old video game picture.
The remains underground decompose, providing a rich soil, causing very prominent plant growth, which then attracts more animals. A
vicious
strange
cycle.
behavior the harvester displays is its choice of diet. The spines will only activate on larger animals, allowing smaller ones to pass by unaffected. The spines will also not activate on some species of bird. There are a couple theories as to why this happens. One, it could be that attacking smaller animals would cost too much energy for what they get in return, making it not worth the time. Another could be that smaller animals may attract larger animals or predators, allowing a safe place where prey may thrive and lure more predators. It truly is astonishing.
So the plant has a brain then, or some form of some form of intelligence, right? Not specifically a brain, but if it's able to think ahead to a point where it's trying to lure in bigger animals by using the prey. It's interesting too, because if the flora is flourishing, that might bring in even more of the said fauna. You see where I'm going with this? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? We're remaining calm, cool, and collected. Those are the 3 C's. And this one actually might be the scariest one so far. Like, that's such a horrible, like viscerally horrible way to die. Like, imagine a plant. You're walking through the woods one day, and under the ground, these spikes jab up and stab into your leg, paralyzing you. And then it doesn't even matter if your wounds aren't that big. You start bleeding out, and because of the venom, your blood doesn't clot, so you just slowly drain of all your fluids. As Billy Corgan once said, the world is a vampire.
Although it is a
Set
spectacular
to
creature,
drain.
it is also very dangerous.
Sorry.
The harvester is decently rare, only populating sparse areas in the northern hemisphere and woodland forests. If you are stung by a harvester, there will be no way of helping you, being that there is no cure, and fatality is 100% positive. The best thing you can do is avoid encountering a harvester in the first place.
Did we miss
There's no
something?
cure, and
Did we miss something? Oh, yep. Family attacked by... Is that some form of harvester? Authorities refuse to handle the harvester. Those gosh dang authorities, always refusing to handle the harvesters.
the best thing you can do is avoid encountering a harvester in the first place.
Wow, thank you.
If you are hiking, take note of any warning.
I really appreciate the sound advice. The best thing you can do in that situation is to not have been in that situation. Beautiful. Couldn't have said it better myself. There's really no way to uproot them, to get rid of them, to poison them maybe. Maybe you could poison them. Maybe you could send diseased flesh into their midst. Maybe they don't care. Wasn't the crawl, weren't they like immune to poison? Or not poison, but just like most disease. I don't remember.
Warnings or signs
Not the
saying
crawl,
that
the
there
trimmings,
are
the
harvesters
trimmings.
around. If you also notice an abundance of lush, ground-dwelling
If you
plants in a
notice good-
forested area, and there are no signs
of
of
plants.
wildlife,
Um,
this is suspicious and you should leave the area,
Okay.
staying close to the base of large trees or rocks. If you find yourself in the middle of a harvester ground, do not panic. Sudden movements may activate the tendrils and will inject you. Although a harvester is rather forgiving, do not risk any skittish movements. Remain calm.
Panic.
If you have any objects with considerable heft, like coats, backpacks, or full water bottles, gently take that object and lightly toss it towards the bulb and away from your escape route.
Oh, that's
This
smart.
will activate the spines on where the object lands, distracting the bulb for a moment. You will then slowly begin to do wide shuffles away from the bulb. If possible, throw another object when you are certain you are a fair enough distance away, just to be safe. Continue until you are completely sure you are out of harm's way.
That was actually good advice.
You may come out unscathed, but don't be too obnoxious, or you will be a harvester's next meal.
Okay.
Next up is the host.
The host.
The host of
No,
influence.
let me see it. Let me see it. The host of influence. Ah, damn it. That's almost unreadable. Damn it. Can I increase the quality at all? 180? That didn't do much. During a time of hardship, critters were struggling. There was almost no food to go around. They would go and gather whatever they could, I guess. Okay. Are these the critters? These seem like the critters.
The host of influence. The
Let's
host
learn
of
about the host
influence,
of
more
influence.
commonly referred to as the host, has its name derived from a host who invites guests to an event.
Oh.
Not to be confused with a host, a harborer of parasites or disease. The host is a semi-humanoid looking organism. It has the structure of a head, torso, and arms. Other than this, it shares no other characteristics. The lower half of the host is comprised of a mass of fibrous tissue and tendrils that burrow into the ground to hold the host in place. Instead of
Okay.
skin, the host is covered in muscular
look
tissue
at him.
fibers, tendons, and veins. In some parts of the body are covered in a meaty plate, used to cover any large exposed areas, but allowing movement. The host's head has a smooth surface where the face should be, attached to a crooked neck, which houses a slit in the front used for feeding.
A slit that blends into the neck muscles. Like a smoothie.
On the host's back is a mound of pores. Protruding from these pores are hollow, hair-like structures, extending outwards. These hairs are barrels that
Oh my
release spores
God.
produced within host's body
The
by
horror
being
just never
fired into
ends.
the air. These spores are hazardous, so keep clear of them at all costs. Luckily, the host is rare.
Whoa. Those like worshippers? What are those? What the fuck is that? Like a ball. like are you picking up what I'm putting down? Sorry. Okay, here we go.
Luckily, the host
Luckily.
is rare,
Luckily.
only found in North America.
Ah.
Obtaining info
I thought I was off the hook for a second there. Luckily, the host is rare. It's only found in North America. Gosh darn it.
about the host is a very risky and
They
daunting
told me to go to
task.
Brazil.
This is because of their rarity and of
realizing
how
maybe I
dangerous
should
it is
have.
to be up close to one. The spores released by a host is very dangerous when inhaled. A host will release a cloud of spores into the air, which will be picked up by wind and carried great distances. If an organism inhales the spores, the particles
way
will
my
find their
smile
way into the organism's brain
fades
and
from my
infect them.
face.
An infected organism will show no symptoms of infection right away, but a couple hours after infection the infected organism's behavior and thought process will change. The first symptoms that appear are restlessness, sluggish movement, numbness of joints, and lack of coordination.
That is so
Then more
mean.
serious symptoms appear over time. These include dizziness, migraines, impaired speech, and trembles.
Yo, that's
If you
also me.
or someone you know show these symptoms,
I have those
contact
symptoms.
poison control or emergency services.
What happens?
After a total of 6 to 7 hours after infection, the organism will cease all activities they were previously doing and begin to walk. The direction the infected will walk is towards the host whose spores have been inhaled by the infected individual.
So
If
does
the
each
infected
host
makes their way to the host,
There's walking people. Does each host have their own special spore pattern then, or like their own I don't know, their own strain of spore, because what if you got infected and then went to the wrong host? It says you go to a specific one. Not that this is important information or really a question that anyone in the world would ask except for a dumbass, but someone had to ask the question. Furthermore, why green? Why are we green and translucent? That's the real question. That's the real question that I have for the audience this evening, is why are we green and translucent? Are you green and translucent? If you are, I apologize, but like, I kind of doubt it, and I just don't think this is a very fair representation when all of the living meat creatures seem to have gotten pretty lore accurate depictions in their cardboard cutout state. I don't know. Maybe this is just a me thing. Maybe I'm the only one who's caring about this or cares to notice this or cares. Maybe I'm the only one who cares. Maybe no one else in the world cares as much as me. But I think it's my empathy that has led me to a place of understanding where I can say, I don't think that you, I just I don't think you're green. I don't think you're green and translucent. In fact, I would go so far as to say that if you are green and translucent, there's probably you might be infected with the it makes sense now. It just clicked in my brain. Okay, we're gonna move on.
They will kneel down in front of it,
Kneel.
expose their vital organs, and the host will promptly gut and remove those organs. The host will consume them and discard the leftover scraps. However, if an infected organism doesn't reach the host within a 36-hour span or is treated for their infection, the effects will wear off and return back to normal. If a host is unable to find prey or doesn't like its current location, it will unroot itself and move to a new location. Their scarce numbers and the hazard of being around one makes getting info about the host very daunting. All you need to currently know is that the host is extremely dangerous and should be avoided at all costs.
What was that noise? I'm
Next,
afraid of noises now.
the monoliths.
That's a cool name.
The monoliths.
Nope. Let me see. Let me see the storybook page. Show it to me. What do we got? What is that strange sun looking thing down there? Wait, what? Where's my... I know I saw one. I know it... Ah, there it is. Okay. Although one day the critters found the... Oh. One day the critters... Those critters found the cave while searching for food, and they found the prince in a trance in his healing sleep. The critters were so awestruck and enchanted by the prince's magic. It's so weird how, like, nonchalant this storybook is. Like, how horrifically evil these or not necessarily even evil, but just how like, just imagine, like, the whole concept of this is we're no longer the apex predator. Not that we're necessarily the apex predator in real life, but we are, like, intelligence-wise, above most creatures. We can probably figure out ways to outsmart or outgun, outstrength most of them. And it's just, imagine if that wasn't the case anymore, how different life would be if we were in a different position on the food chain, if all of our industrialization and all of our schemes and all of our intelligence was meaningless against these new creatures that were borderline invincible or were capable of pulling off these convoluted, strange plans beyond our understanding. If even the going into a wood and seeing trees and plants set off warning bells, how different would you live your life? How much anxiety would you go through on a daily basis? You know, we would become the prey. And then throughout it all, we get this freaking, I don't know, what's a tame fairy tale? I can't even think of one off the top of my head. We're getting this freaking Mickey Mouse flip book, with mouse. We're learning about the Mousecatools,
The monoliths.
The monoliths. Let's talk about the monoliths.
The monolith is a
It's a
very
cool
new
name.
creature, only
I might have
showing
said
up
that
in
already,
June of
but-
1972 in the area of.
Oh, come on.
There are only 7
That's so interesting, though. There have been no creatures throughout the entire thing that like they're all. There's only 7 of them. They're all like creatures, you know. They're all over the world apparently, except for some that are a little bit more scarce, or the one that's only in North America. But in general, they're like. I don't know. Having only 7 of something makes it almost more of an entity than a creature in my brain. I don't know. It's weird. It's strange. Let's continue.
7 monoliths, all of them located in a circular position,
All of them
1.5 kilometers in diameter.
All
This ring
together.
of monoliths surround.
Why don't you
The
just dox
monolith is a
yourself?
Titanic-sized being,
Do it.
measuring roughly 120
Coward.
meters in height. Each monolith has 2 trunk legs that are firmly embedded underground. The legs connect to a torso.
Ooh, that's so
The creature
cool.
itself is made of hundreds of thousands of meaty strands,
that.
tightly
Those
woven together to
meaty
form the structure.
strands.
These strands end at the neck, fusing into a solid mass of hardened flesh in the shape of an upside-down triangle, with a hole in its center. On each side of the monolith where arms would be, there are dozens of long, rope-like appendages. These reach just barely to the ground.
It's the boiled one.
At the creature's feet, the strands go deep into the earth and extend horizontally a decent distance away.
That might be my favorite
What
picture
the
of the whole thing
monoliths
so
do
far.
is simply
That
stand
one's
and
really
do
cool,
nothing.
too.
The only activity documented that the monoliths have done was in during the
The monoliths are very me-core as well. They simply stand and do nothing. That is my job description every single day.
this period. They were extremely aggressive. When the group of were making their way to the
How many
city,
times does he
the
curse?
monolith that they had passes roared a deep bellow and swung its appendages at the team, completely wiping them out. When military vehicles were dispatched,
That doesn't
once they
sound like
got
doing
close
nothing.
enough top the monolith, it roared another call, this time releasing an EMP blast, completely knocking the vehicles out in the vicinity. Finally, long-distance rockets were fired and struck the creature.
Do we get to see it? Do we get to see it?
Although damaged, it
Wait. There was another page. There was another page. I know it. Okay. Oh, that's just a photograph. Oh, it's not a page. Damn it.
although damaged, it regenerated at great speed and resumed its stance unscathed. Eventually, the area has been fenced off and is now restricted to all. Ever since, the monoliths stand silently, now only a
they're
grand
still
spectacle
there?
of awe and mystery, only adding more questions to these meat beings. And finally, the last creature on this list is
No, let me see that. Let me see that. Let me see that. Let me see it. Ah, damn it. I can't read that. Grow food. Damn it. Wait, let me see. Are any of them readable? Any of the flashes? No. No. No, I don't think they are. Damn it. Okay, whatever.
The singularity is an orb comprised of a dark-colored mineral with hints of luminous colors within its core. The singularity is estimated to be 1 meter in diameter. The orb has several unique qualities that are not well understood. The singularity typically can be found suspended in air by an unseen force. There are also a variety of reading that have been documented coming from the orb itself. Various things like magnetic fields, energy signatures, and other pattern-like signals released by the singularity. The population of these creatures is unknown. Almost all info about the singularity is hidden or confiscated by
and majestic world that exists today, it's as extraordinary to have such strange and mysterious beings appear all around us. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery of the lives of these living meat creatures.
How do I feel like it's vaguely a brainwashing tape too? How like positive it is about the creatures. It's like you should. Did that say more? What did that say? Did that say more? Did you guys see? More to come. Oh, okay. Okay, more to come. Exciting. More to come. Well, more has come. Fun. That's crazy. Well, that was Vita Carnis for you. Apologies for mispronouncing it at the beginning of the video. I forgot that they call it Carnis. I've been calling it Vita Carnis for way too long. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for joining me. You're super cool. Get I don't know what this is. Get pat on the head. I don't know. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next transmission. Goodbye. I would like to give a massive thank you to the enablers only on Patreon. We've got some cool new people. We've got It's Bees and Lori, and I did give a shout out to Joy in a video that's not out yet, so I'm just going to do it again here because this is coming out first. And yeah, thank you guys so much. It's freaking crazy that there's 20 people on there now. So thank you. Huge thank you to Bees, Lori, Joy, Tommy, Boris, Pan, Thomas, Ray, Audrey, Justin, Lou, Ray, ZK, Tom, Dave, Elkie, Stardrop, Nude, George, Joseph, and Mr. Fox. See you guys in the next video.